Hi and welcome, I am Helle, and today I'm going to take a look at Castle Builder. And this is a game for 2 to 4 players. It takes about 30 minutes to play and it's for the ages 8+. And this is a competitive game where we're going to build our own castle. And in this video I will give you an overview of the rules and then I will come with my impression of the game. And in this game we are all going to build our own castle. So each player, they are going to get this holder where you can have your tiles, and you're going to get one of these where you can build your tiles to. And you need to collect 7 coins, and the player that first collects 7 coins is going to be the winner. So this game is a race game in first getting around this board with your little baron. You have a Baron Meeple that is going to run around in here, and each time you pass one of these spaces with a coin, you're going to grab one of these. That is going to give you a one-time ability. Sometimes it will help you, sometimes it might help some of the other players. They have some different abilities, these coins. But each time you land on this space or you pass one coin, you're going to grab one of these. So it's a race to first get 7 coins to win the game. And the way you can move your baron on this space is when you build tiles to your castle. At the start of the game, each player, they're going to start with 3 tiles. And on a player's turn, you can either build a tile to your castle or you can draw 2 new tiles. And you have a limit of 7 tiles. So if you get more than 7 tiles, then you have to discard some of the tiles to the common pile. This means that on a player turn, you can choose one of your tiles and then you can build. But the way you can build is that on the first level here, you can always build. You don't have any requirements. You can always place a tile. The only requirements you have is that you need to match the edges on the bottom here with where you're going to place it. So if you have the rock at the bottom here, you need to place it with a rock. And so this one I can't place like this because there's no rock underneath. But you also have some tiles where you have air. You can't place this one here because you have air against the rock. That is not allowed. But you could place it here or here because you have rock and then you have air underneath. So it's okay if you have air underneath. So you have to match the bottom and the top sides, but the air is allowed floating over nothing because it's just air. And then you also have, on this level, you don't have any requirements of numbers, but if you want to build on a higher level, then you have to match the numbers. I could place this number 4 at this space here. This is allowed on the bottom space, and it matches with all the edges, and then it would be the next player's turn. But when it came back to me, then I could place this one. When you place on the second level or higher, then you get to move your baron, but you also have to match the numbers underneath. So here, if you have a number 9, you can place it here. The sum of these two is 9, so therefore I can place it there. I wouldn't be able to place it here because the sum of these two is 22. The highest number you have in the game is 16. And on here it's 19. I wouldn't be able to place it up here either. And but I could place it here. And when you place to the second level, then you can move your baron 2 steps. And you can also move them 1 step for each jewel you have on here. So this one, I would be able to move it 3 steps. So on here, I could move the yellow 1, 2, 3. And then when you land on a space with a coin, you can grab one of these. And these have different abilities. There are some that are red, that have some abilities where you might be able to steal a tile from another player with the thief. Or with this one, the player with the most windows you have in your castle, then you can draw 2 new tiles. It might be you, but it might also be another player. So that you have to consider when you're going to grab a coin. But if it was me, would be great because then I could grab 2 new tiles. You can also get this one where you can destroy one of your tiles on your board. And that can actually be helpful because sometimes you might get yourself stuck if you have too many tiles played with this air because you can't build anything on top of air. So you could remove one of these tiles. You can't remove tiles where then you have something. I couldn't remove this one. That would not be allowed. But you could destroy a tile in your own castle if you took this one. But it might also be that we just have the most windows in our castle, or maybe another player has the same. Then all players with the most windows, they will get to draw 2 new tiles and place. And then you are going to add a new coin out here. And then we have something else. We have these, because you can't place on 22, but you have tiles that have this mark on it, this check mark on it, and there you don't have any requirements of the numbers. They will always match. So this one I could place here or here. And if I placed it here on my next turn, then I can move, this is a level 3, then I would be able to move my Baron 3 spaces. You are allowed to have wall against air, but you cannot have wall against air at the top and the bottom. This one you would be able to, you couldn't place it here on this side, but we could place it on this side over here. That's the only place we would be able to place a tile like this. And that goes the same with this one. This one has a special symbol. This means you can only place it on a level where there is already a tile. So if this tile hadn't been here, I wouldn't be able to place it here, even though it matches. Then I can't place it because there has to be another tile on the level when you place this tile with this symbol. So that is the way you're going to build to your castle. And if at some point a player would have to move 2 spaces and there is another meeple there, then they will have to move to the first space ahead of them that is empty. And on this one, when you land on a space with this symbol, you get to draw a tile from the market. If you land on this space with the jewel, the diamond, you get to move your meeple Baron 1 further space ahead. But that is the way you're going to play this game. You're going to grab tiles on your turn, 2 tiles, or you're going to build a tile, and you have to match the numbers underneath and also match what you have underneath, if you have wall or if you have air. And then you're going to move your Baron if you place on the second level and up, and you're going to move for the level and then plus any jewels, diamonds you have on the tile. And then it's just a race to first get 7 coins to win the game. And when you grab these tiles, you have to consider which one you're going to grab, because some might help you, some might help others. And that is an element in the game. There's also the red tiles. There are some different tiles in the game with different abilities, and you can, if you want to, then you can, instead of using the abilities, if you don't like the take that element in the game where you're going to be mean to other players, you can instead just grab a tile from the market. So that's up to you. If you don't like the take that element, then you can just use them to grab a tile from the market instead. But the take that element is that you might be able to steal one from the other players. You might be able to destroy one of their tiles, like this one where you can destroy it at your own space. And then they have some different tiles like most windows, most people, and there's most roofs in your castle that you can, if you have that, then you can grab 2 tiles from out here. And then you have this one, the bitter old lady, that's just going to remove a tile for all other players. Yeah, so that is the different abilities you're going to have, some of the different abilities you're going to have on these coins. And again, if you don't like to take that element, then you can just instead grab a tile from the market. And if you look at the components for this game, then I think that is great. These standees are easy to assemble and they work great with placing your tiles in these. And then you have, of course, you have the one you built at, that is fine, good cardboard. All this is fine, good cardboard. So I think the quality of these elements are quite good. And then they have made this board here with the castle on it. It's easy to assemble. And it's a fun element they have added. So you have this castle here. We can just show you it's 3D castle. It's easy to assemble and put down when you have to put it back into the box again. And if you look at the complexity of the game, then I think it's an easy game to teach and to play, and it's quick to set up the game. And the rules, they are easy. You're just going to place tiles, and you have to remember when you place them, you have to match the edges, the bottom and the top part with each other when you place them. And then you have to be careful when you place them not to place too much air in your castle, because you can't build on top of the air spaces. You have to have some wall underneath to be able to build. And then it's great to have these with check marks, because you can place them so they don't have to match the bottom part when you place them. I think this is an easy game to teach, and I think it's a family-friendly game to play. And you can definitely play it with kids. You have a little bit of math you have to calculate, so you can have your children doing math without thinking about doing math, because you have to match the numbers underneath here. Just one rule I also want to explain. If, for example, I have 10 here and I have a number 9, it doesn't match, but I am allowed to put one that has a difference with one number, +1 or -1. Then I would just have to discard a tile. So I could place a number 9 and discard a tile. I could also have placed a number 11 and discarded a tile. So that is allowed. So you can have one indifference when you place a tile, but then you have to discard one tile. And this game is a puzzle when you play it, and because you have to try to build your castle, and you have to think about building a lot of brick tiles, wall tiles at the bottom here, because if you start using too much of the tiles with air, then you can't build on top of them. It's going to hinder you when you want to build further up on the layers you have. But at some point you want to build some of these too, because they are easier to place, and some of them will have these jewels on them, so you can move your baron even further when you place them. But you have to be careful not to place too many of these tiles at the start, because it's going to be more difficult to place your tiles. So it is a puzzle to build your castle, and it's fun to build your castle and look at all the different illustrations that are on them. That I think is fun, and some of them, they do look like they are looking at each other and have some kind of interaction with each other in your castle. I think this is a fun little quick game, a family-friendly quick game that you can play. And it is a puzzle, and it's a race just to get first to getting 7 coins. And you can also have your kids, they have to do math when they do this game, because they have to calculate and look at what numbers they have they can put down, so they can put other tiles on top of them. So you have to do some math when you play the game, so you can have your kids doing math without thinking about it. And in this game, since it is tile drawing, there is some luck in the game in which tiles you're going to draw. Are they going to match the numbers you need, or are you going to get the tiles you need? So there is some luck in the game, but that you have to be aware of. But I don't mind having games where you also have some luck in the game. But this is my look at the Castle Builder, and last I want to give this a rating, and I have a rating system where I'm going from 0 to 5 pink monsters, and if you get the 3 pink monsters, then it's a good game. And I'm going to rate this game with 3.5 pink monsters. And that was my look at this game. Thanks for watching.